Hey Gameheads, let's talk about offline mobile games, and without wasting too much of your time, let's just dive straight into it. Starting things off with an old soul. How old you say? Try being one of the first games I played when I got an Android device, back when I was still starting high school. At some point I thought this game was lost media because I spent years searching for it with no luck, but just a few days I stumbled across it again, and to my surprise somebody actually revamped it back in 2022. So of course I had to put it onto this list because of how much it influenced my love for gaming. The game is set in a Three Kingdoms inspired Chinese mythology where you take on relentless undead hordes. It plays as a hack and slash auto battler, but don't allow the auto battler to fool you. You are in full control of dodging, using skills and executing finishers, and trust me, the game has some serious cool movesets. You can also hire captains, each with their own unique skills and combat abilities, adding variety to the game. I just played it and I'm not speaking from nostalgia when I say it still holds up. Sure, the revamped version has a few bugs, people have pointed that out and I've seen them for myself, but the world building, combat and overall experience are really well done. Right now it goes by Undead Slayer Extreme and it's available on Android and iOS for free. Next up we have Knightblade, a retro-style pixel RPG that feels straight out of the Game Boy and SNES era. If you're a fan of that classic look, this one's for you. You create your character from 4 different classes and dive into an open world where you can explore, freely interact with the NPCs, build relationship, yes, even romance, start a farm, build a house, the whole deal. Think of it like Stardew Valley meets Skyrim. The Stardew Valley side comes from the farming, social interaction, and world building, while the Skyrim aspect kicks in with dungeons. You explore these dangerous areas, mining caves for ore, beating enemies, and diving into its deep RPG mechanics. It's a beautifully crafted game with a lot of content, but I'll be for real, it's not for everyone. The heavily retro-inspired graphics gives it a nostalgic charm, but if that style is not your thing, like for me example, it might not click with you. However, if you love that classic era of gaming, you should definitely check it out. It's available for Android and iOS and it's paid. Next up we have Zoeti, a turn-based roguelike deck builder. Now this one takes the deck building aspect really seriously because instead of the standard ability cards, you're actually playing with a deck of regular playing cards. Each combination, whether a pair, full house, royal flush, or whatever, activates different skills for either attacking or defending against enemies. So if you've got a good grasp of a poker hand, you'll feel right at home here. And if not, well, this might be a fun new way of learning while slashing through enemies. It's a great looking game and I think I've posted about it a few weeks ago. If you have played Balatro and looking for something new in that space, this might, and I mean this might, just scratch the ease. Zoeti is available on Android and iOS as a paid game. Following up we have Wall of Insanity, a third-person shooter from Mela, the guys behind the Slaughter series, and as the name suggests, this one's quite a trip. You play as a special unit officer sent to investigate an abandoned house after a police squad goes missing while chasing down a supposed cult and its leader. Sounds simple, right? Well, things take a turn fast. You end up battling grotesque interdimensional monsters in eerie otherworldly locations and with all sorts of heavy firepower. Despite the horror element, the game leans more into action, almost giving up that Mass Effect vibe with its gunplay and atmosphere. It's been around since 2022 and I'm only just discovering it, but better late than never, right? So if you're in the mood for something sinister and dark and you want to blast some nightmarish creatures straight into oblivion, this one might be worth a shot. Wall of Insanity is available on Android and iOS and is pretty cheap for a paid game. Next up is Jump King, and as the name suggests, it's all about jumping, with the goal of reaching the smoking hot babe at the top. Simple premise, right? Well, not quite. The game is a hardcore platformer that demands precise timing on your jump. If you've played Getting Over It or similar rage-inducing games, you will get the idea. The higher you go, the harder it gets, and without proper mastery, you are bound to fall a lot. But the beauty of it is about challenging yourself, learning from failure, and pushing your limits until you finally make it to the top and have that smoking hot babe. Along the way, you meet some funny and quirky NPCs that make the journey more interesting. Sure, the gameplay can feel repetitive, but the challenge is what keeps people hooked, with a solid 4.5 rating on Steam. Jump King is available on iOS, but if you're on Android, you have to grab it on the TapTap store since I couldn't find it on the Play Store. Next up, we have Same Room, Same Day, a horror FPS that dives straight into the mind of Rosalind as she battles terrifying fragments of her imagination. If you love that Doom-style action, this one might grab your attention. The game throws you into eerie, twisted environments where you not only blast horrific creatures, but also solve puzzles that reveal more about Rosalind's very fractured psyche. The ultimate goal to piece together the mystery of why her mind is so messed up and hopefully bring her some peace. From the trailer, the game might look incredible, but don't let that fool you. The actual gameplay is a little bland. That said, if you are in it for the atmosphere and the Doom-like FPS action, is still a solid pick. And the best part is completely free. Same Room, Same Day is available on Android and iOS, so go check it out. Next up, we have Arcanterra, a side-scrolling RPG where you create your own hero, pick their allegiance, customize abilities, and head off on a quest through the multiple cities of Eldora. It's a story-heavy game with a unique paper-style art direction. When it comes to the gameplay, it's very slow-paced hack and slash. Some might find it engaging, others might find it dull. I personally find it distasteful, but that's depending on your taste. The game is available for Android and iOS, but only in certain countries. I have no idea if it's paid or free since I couldn't get that info, but if you are curious, you can check it out. Next up is Songs of Conquest, a turn-based strategy RPG that looks pretty damn intense. You play as a wielder, a group of powerful magicians exploring uncharted lands, waging war, raising towns, and dealing with all the chaos that the world of Ember throws at you. It's got a mix of turn-based tactics, simulation, and RPG elements, plus 4 factions to choose from. There's a lot packed into this one, and it definitely has that polished premium feel. Of course, that also means it's a paid game, but if you're into solid turn-based RPGs with a sprinkle of town building simulation, this one might be worth checking out. Alright, next up is Heroes Adventure. I've talked about this one before. It's an open world RPG with that martial arts survival world aesthetics. If you played cultivation novels or you're into that kind of media, you already know the vibe. You start off as just some random guy in a nameless village, no clan, no reputation, literally getting beaten up by chickens. But as you level up, progress, train your martial arts, collect powerful techniques, and eventually gather to form your very own sect. The goal is to become the greatest sect in the world. Visually, it looks great. The story seems solid, and since it's made by XD Studios, the guys behind Sands of Salsa, they probably know what they're doing when it comes to that open world massive design. Hopefully, it plays smoothly without crashes and keeps things straightforward. It's a big game and it's available on Android and iOS for a price. Definitely check this one out if it's like your thing. Next up, we got Resident Evil 3, Capcom's latest addition to the iOS lineup of Resident Evil games. If you are slightly familiar with the gaming world, you probably know about the 2020 remake of the classic 1990s Resident Evil 3. You play as 2 mercenaries whose name I won't even bother to mention, on a mission to find a vaccine for a zombie outbreak, fighting off monsters while being relentlessly hunted by nemesis. You have seen the memes, you know the deal. Now, Seeing a game of this scale running on a smartphone is honestly insane. It looks gorgeous, runs surprisingly well, and is a must play if you're into horror third-person shooters. But yeah, I won't lie, I'm still jealous that I cannot experience it myself. So if you're an iOS user with a solid chipset, you are in for a treat. It's available as a paid game, so if that sounds like your thing, go check it out. And with that, we've reached the end of the list. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. A huge shout out to all of my amazing subscribers. I appreciate all of you. It's your host Peter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out too.